Whakari.White Island is an active andesite stratovolcano, situated 48 kilometers from the east coast of the North Island of New Zealand, in the Bay of Plenty. It is New Zealand's most active cone volcano, and has been built up by continuous volcanic activity over the past 150,000 years. The nearest mainland towns are Whakatane and Tauranga.White Island has been in a nearly continuous stage of smoking since it was discovered by James Cook in 1769. The island is roughly circular, about 2 kilometers in diameter, and rises to a height of 321 meters above sea level. However, this is only the peak of a much larger submarine mountain, which rises up to 1,600 meters above the nearby seafloor. Sulfur mining was attempted but was abandoned in 1914 after a lava killed all 10 workers. The main activities on the island now are guided tours and scientific research. Volcanology. Whakaari's eruptions have produced both lava flows and explosive eruptions of ash. It is New Zealand's most well-known active marine volcano, attracting scientists and volcanologists worldwide as well as many tourists. It is part of the Taupo volcanic zone. Volcanologists from the GeoNet project continually monitor the volcano's activity via surveillance cameras, survey pegs, magnetometers and seismograph equipment for early earthquake warnings via radio have also been installed on the crater walls. The island is usually on an alert level rating of 1 or 2 on a scale of 0 to 5. At most times the volcanic activity is limited to steaming fumaroles and boiling mud. In March 2000, 3 small vents appeared in the main crater and began belching ash which covered the island in fine grey powder. An eruption on the 27th of July 2000 blanketed the island with mud and scoria, and a new crater appeared. Major eruptions in 1981 to 83 altered much of the island's landscape and decimated the extensive Pohutu cow forest. The large crater created at the time now contains a lake whose level varies substantially. Between July and August 2012, White Island showed signs of increased activity, with lake and gas levels rising from inside the crater. On the 5th of August 2012, a minor eruption occurred, sending ash into the air. More eruptions have followed since. Continued volcanic activity and tremors on the 25th of January 2013 suggested another eruption was imminent. A small eruption occurred on the 20th of August 2013 at 10:23 a.m., lasting for 10 minutes and producing mostly steam. According to the New Zealand Herald newspaper, Civil Defence will monitor White Island following a small eruption which could be part of a sequence leading to a bigger event. History. The full Maori name for the island is Te Puia o Whakaari, meaning the dramatic volcano. It was named White Island by Captain Cook on the 1st of October 1769 because it always appeared to be in a cloud of white steam. Although Cook went close to the island, he failed to notice that it was a volcano. Its official name is Whakari.White Island, although it is best known as White Island. Attempts were made in the mid-1880s, 1898 to 1901, and 1913-1914 to mine sulfur from White Island, with the island at first being owned by John Wilson. The mining came to a halt in September 1914, when part of the western crater rim collapsed, creating a lava which killed all 10 workers. They disappeared without trace, and only a camp cat survived. He was found some days afterwards by the resupply ship and dubbed Peter the Great. Some years later, in 1923, mining was again attempted, but learning from the 1914 disaster, The miners built their huts on a flat part of the island near a gannet colony. Each day they would lower the boat into the sea from a gantry, and row around to the mining factory wharf in Crater Bay. If the sea was rough, they had to clamber around the rocks on a very narrow track on the crater's edge. Before the days of antibiotics, sulfur was used in medicines as an antibacterial agent, in the making of match heads, and for sterilizing wine corks. The miners' diggings were handled in small rail trucks to the crushing and bagging process in the factory built on the island. Unfortunately, there was not enough sulfur at Whakaari, and so the ground-up rock was used as a component of agricultural fertilizer. Eventually, the mining ended in the 1930s because of the poor mineral content in the fertilizer. The remains of the buildings can still be seen, much corroded by the sulfuric gases. Important bird area. The island has been identified as an important bird area by BirdLife International because of its breeding colony of about 3,000 pairs of Australasian gannets. Access. White Island is privately owned. It was declared a private scenic reserve in 1953, and is subject to the provision of the Reserves Act 1977. Visitors cannot land without permission. However, it is easily accessible by authorized tourist operators. The waters surrounding White Island are well known for the fishing. Yellowtail kingfisher abound all year round, and there is deep water fishing for hippoca and bluenose in the winter and blue, black and striped marlin and yellowfin tuna in the summer. A small charter fleet offering day trips and overnight or longer trips operates from the nearby port at Whakatane. Dino. In May 2004, a dino figurine was glued to a rock in front of the GeoNet volcano camera on the island. GeoNet decided not to have it removed, assuming it was a plastic toy and would not survive long in the corrosive environment. As of the 24th of September 2014, the figurine was still present and did not appear visibly degraded. According to Craig Miller, the GeoNet Volcano Network coordinator, the environment around the volcano has been relatively benign, even to the point that vegetation has been regrowing since the last eruptions in 2000, which may explain why the toy is still in good condition. Another possible scenario is that the figurine is made out of porcelain and as such would not be affected by any corrosive gases. Sometime between the 23rd of July and the 24th of July 2009, the dino figure was moved to another location on camera.